wanted to ask about this weekend. I mean, it seems to be in the first time in the franchise history that it's a sort of meaningless game. That might be a little bit of a harsh term for it, but is that true? And how do you kind of approach something that
Yeah.
not even preseason kind of training type of thing? How do you approach something that just doesn't have much value?
Some people might use that term, Jada, meaningless. I don't think it's meaningless. I think there is, a way that we send off the team for the fans that have supported us all year, so it's not meaningless to us. But yeah, as far as playoff implications, nothing in that game is going to push us into the playoffs. And so training, everything, the messaging, everything is that one singular storyline. We want to put on a good performance. We're going to put out a strong team. Everybody that jumps on the field is going to work as hard as they can for themselves, their personal pride, their standard that they hold themselves to, their teammates that have worked hard all year long. I don't want any of them quitting on their teammates. And then finally, and most importantly, the fans. They have to play for them.
Is it accurate though, as far as the franchise, or not just the MLS version, but just as your history of it, that you have not been in this organization has not been in the situation?
In 2006, you can do the research. Okay, that's the only other time. Well, in my existence.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
Yes, since 2002 up until now, it's just 2006 and this year.
The San Jose game was one of the games that you mentioned before, that if you would have held on to that win, that would be one of the games that's different, or gets a different outcome. How much different has that team grown, or what are the
San Jose?
What are some of the things that you could do this time to get there?
That first game was that was the first game with the new coach. They were going to get that bump. They never quit. That's a proud franchise, NASL original. But as far as the soccer is concerned, how they're different. I mean, we're doing the same thing, the same film prep. It's the same group of players. They play 4-3-3. Jackson Ewell. They've got Cowell. They've got Espinosa. They've got good players. Eboisi's good player. I mean, they'll come ready to play.
Coach, I wanted to ask about Raul. He was running last practice and he was here today. Any expectations on he can be on Sunday?
The expectation there with Raul is probably no. It would be a miracle.
Now, Coach, you said that you're going to put the strong team there on Sunday. But is any players that you would like to give him some minutes based on the season?
Yeah, we talked about that. Talked about giving the young players some minutes and old guys that deserve minutes. We talked about all that. So we're aware of all that. We'll make decisions though based on trying to win the game and rewarding some of the young players, rewarding some of the senior players in that order.
One more question. I know right now all the concentration is on Sunday, finish big game in front of the fans, which is very important for the institution. But also planning entire October, November, the World Cup, and also next year is an off schedule. How you guys going to be planning for the off schedule?
Well, for the off season, we are going to, try and come up with a plan because we're going to start right away January 4th for the Club World Cup. Now we need some of the details, where it's going to be played, the game schedule. We need some of those details. So that's one thing from a logistical standpoint. We're starting very early. From the other coaching aspect, we will go over all of the things like we do on any season, win or lose, and go through, get feedback from the players, have exit meetings with staff. We've always done a good job of trying to get better and learn, and every year it's a little bit different. And so that process is the same. We will continue to try and always get better as an individual and as a collective. So there'll be meetings here after Sunday. We'll give the guys, some time off, but we do want to meet with all of them and, get feedback specifically on the coaching and what their thoughts of the season are.
the with the Leagues Cup, I mean, you're gonna and World Cup, I mean,
Yep.
you're automatically gonna have another big boost of games in
Yep.
addition to the regular season. The move that you made to kind of condense practice a little bit, is that something that you could do, carry through a whole season, or how?
You're talking about when we reduce the volume and increase the intensity. We'll look at that, Jada. Obviously, we'll need them to have a very good base of fitness when they come in on January 4th. So their off season is going to be very important for the players. Our fitness guys have given each player a specific, individually tailored to them fitness plan for the off season, and it's our expectation that they follow that, so that when they come January 4th, they have a good base of fitness. Then we'll work on the tactics and the team and everything. And then as the season progresses, yes, you are correct, it's a long season again. And some of the things we learned from this season we'll certainly put into place next year.
So you already have given them their off-season plans.
They are
Fitness
the off-season plans are there. We haven't given them to them yet. We're waiting till after Sunday.
And then also, like as far as roster-wise, I mean, is there also things that you can kind of add input in, or what you would need as far as depth?
Yeah,
to make
there's
it feel
always
a huge
there's
season?
always conversations going on about how the coaching staff feels about players, and they give us film to watch of players that they think are potential candidates. So yeah, we'll have some input there.
Sunday's fan appreciation match. Obviously, you'll continue the tradition of handing out carnations from players to fans. How important is that to keep those traditions alive moving forward?
I mean, that's one of many, Danny. I know a lot of people around here would remember those days in Memorial Stadium, and that first, I don't know how it started, John Best or whoever it was, handing flowers, carnations specifically out to the fans. They did a lot of things back there in the 70s. They had, they went to schools. I keep telling you the story about the one birthday party where you could have Sounders show up, and it was one of my highlights of my growing up. There was a lot of touch points because the club really is the connection between the players and the fans. And so carnations, walking around, win or loss, win or lose, around the stadium, thanking those fans that come into the building. All of those traditions are important. So we'll try and continue those as long as we can.
You said one of the focuses of this week was increasing the level of competition. How do you think that's gone heading into Sunday?
Say that. Ask me that one more time.
You said the focus of training this week was adding a bunch of different type of competitions in it to have the players competing. How do you
You're
think that's
asking
gone?
about Andy Rose's tournament. I'll have to find out who is in the lead. But it is very competitive amongst the players. I think Stephen Cleveland, if I'm correct, is leading. So everybody wants to be on his team. But it was a good idea by Andy, something fresh, something new, and it was good. It got them sparked for a week of training.
Can you share any more about it? Like what? How?
Well,
is
it's
it
every day we have a game. We'll end with a game, and some days even it's 2 exercises within that training day where they collect points. If they're on the winning team, they get 3. If they're losing team, they get 0. And we just tabulate, and the teams always change. So the player with the most points at the end of the season gets a cash prize.
So that was the yell yesterday, the cheer yesterday.
I don't know.
Something
It's been very competitive. It
Yeah.
could have been.
You, one of the big things that's been released this week is the NWSL report. Portland, obviously, through and through has issues. How do you, as a fan of that rivalry, what's your kind of expectation, I guess, with that organization, or maybe even the changes that could be made to kind of keep that rivalry there?
Well,
romance
Jada,
of
I'm
that
not so
rivalry.
sure that I'm educated enough. I mean, look, I haven't read the whole report. I've obviously seen portions of it. Outside of the Seattle-Portland, relationship and whatever Portland does with that situation, because they're in the middle of it, what I would say is that every person, man or woman, deserves a safe working environment. And I think you read the report, and there's been a lot of systemic failure that got brought out in that report. And so how the powers that be handle all that is above my pay grade. I just feel strongly that women should be able to play a sport they love in a safe environment. It's as simple as that.
Is it at all maybe want to double check to make sure what you can control within your organization, staff and whatnot, is cool. It's not even going down a road.
Yeah. Our club has been doing a lot as far as equity and race and LGBTQ and all of those things. We're trying to be a organization that thinks a lot. I think you and I one time had a little conversation when I said you guys and where was the implication, and I tried to learn from that. So yes, we always try and want to be better, and yeah, sometimes those news stories do make you reflect on the job you do.